This is outrageous. It's unfair.
We would be honored if you would join us.
Well guys, I got some great news today, for those who don't know, of course. So if the future of Star Wars wasn't enough of an already huge year for Star Wars, with Episode 9, Star Wars Land, the Clone Wars Season 7, the Qui-Gon book, and Obi-Wan book, and all the backstory comics on every major character being released, and maybe, just maybe, if I can afford it, Episode 2 of my Vader fan film. But before I get ahead of myself on that, just 2 years later, in 2021, the non-profit George Lucas Museum of Narrative Art will be open to the public in LA, just across the street from USC. And yes, it will be including a massive Star Wars section of original sets from the movies, costumes, props, and never-before-seen information, both tangible and literature. George has put $1 billion of his own money into it, with rumors of it costing upwards of $2 billion. The board members consist of several professionals, two of which I'll mention are of course George Lucas and Steven Spielberg. The place is not for profit, which means that George even himself won't make any money or profit off of it. This has fully been funded by George Lucas and his family, which I gotta say is extremely generous to the public. It also won't be using any taxpayers' money because it will be funded mainly by him. Now, I actually drove past the site last night, and let me tell you guys, it was insanely massive. Like, this thing was huge. It dwarfed any football field, and here is the 3D image of what it's going to look like when it's done. All the info you guys want to know about it can be found in the official link below at lucasmuseum.org, so let's read some of the info on the site. Some of the featured works will be sets and props of films, including but not limited to Lord of the Rings, The Return of the King, Metropolis, The Phantom Menace, The Revenge of the Sith, A New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, Things to Come, Citizen Kane, and Blade Runner. And then if we click on each one of these sets, we get to see one of these at the museum that they used in the films. I don't know about you guys, but I really want to see all of these, especially Yoda's hut. In addition to exhibition space, the Lucas Museum will hold an archive, a library, a vast lobby, classrooms, 2 state-of-the-art theaters, a museum shop, and a cafe. The museum will be surrounded by 11 acres of park space designed by landscape architecture from Studio MLA. The $1.5 billion museum is expected to open in 2021. So what is the Lucas Museum of Narrative Art? The non-profit museum, which features a bold new architectural design, will be a one-of-a-kind gathering place to experience collections, films, and exhibitions dedicated to the power of visual storytelling and the evolution of art and moving images. The museum will present original art by world-renowned and emerging artists, cutting-edge digital technologies, and daily film screenings in state-of-the-art theaters, as well as extraordinary educational opportunities for students of all ages. The Lucas Museum will truly be a museum unlike any other. The facility will be designed by award-winning architect Ma Yansong of Mad Architects. It will include many things, one of which I found really interesting is this: an in-depth exploration of all facets of cinematic art and its design processes, including original concept art, storyboards, set design, props, costume and fashion, animation, and visual effects. Now, I'm hoping all the stuff from the Making Star Wars books and even maybe things that we've never seen before in these books will be in the museum itself. I can't wait to see all the actual costumes and props used in the movies. I mean, that would just be so sweet to see in person. It's going to be a really cool place. Mr. Lucas's collection provides the seed from which the museum's collection will grow for decades to come. From that foundation, the curators of the museum will build a collection that will unfold like any great work, with greater depth and breadth and diversity in both media and maker, and characters as varied as the tellers. Which then of course we see a picture of the Otoh-Gunga city from Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. It goes on to say the goal of the museum is to house a collection that tells stories from many places and times. Some you will recognize, others that will become new favorite tales. Now, another thing I want to add before we end the video, if we go to the digital cinema section, we'll see works based on all of these movies. Lord of the Rings, The Return of the King, Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, Avatar, Jurassic Park, Terminator 3, Pirates of the Caribbean, Shrek, Rango, and Toy Story 3. The amount of stuff that they're going to put on display from the original making of all of these movies, whether it's makeup to CGI or actual sets itself, is going to be a revolutionary place and museum to visit. I'm calling it right now. I'm definitely going to be holding a fan meetup there someday where we can all go in and check out the Star Wars stuff and anything else together as a big group. I think that would be pretty fun. I hope you guys are excited for it. This museum seems like it's very, very cool and definitely not been done before. I will see you all in the next episode of Star Wars Theory. Until then, my fellow Jedi and Sith friends, remember,
The Force will be with you, always.
Now, fulfill your destiny.